Good morning, students. So we were discussing the chapter Nazism and the Rise of Hitler. Until now, we have discussed the background, introduction. We have discussed of the First World War and the Second World War. Then we have discussed the background. In background, we have seen the Helmut story. Then we have seen the birth of Weimar Republic, Treaty of Versailles, effect of the war we discussed. Then after that, we discussed the political radicalism and the economic crisis. And lastly, in the economic crisis, we discussed what kind of problems or Germany was going through the economic crisis, the worst economic crisis Germany was going through because of the damages they were paying in the gold. So that's why it depleted their gold reserves. And 1923 they said we are not going to pay any compensation further. France occupied the Ruhr region, and then after that Germany retaliated with printing the paper currency recklessly, which led to the hyperinflation in the economy. Then we have seen that the pictures were being published in the world press regarding the cartloads of currency the people were taking in order to purchase a loaf of bread. Then out of sympathy, the USA came forward and they helped the Germany with the Davos plan, the financial plan which was introduced by the USA in order to help Germany or bail Germany out of the financial crisis it suffered after the First World War. So we discussed till here. Now the next topic which we have to discuss is years of depression. Now in years of depression, students, the stability during 1924, that is the Davos plan when it was introduced in 1924 to 1928 in Germany was built on sand. So weak stability was there and it was built on sand, means anytime the system can collapse. And the same thing happened. The German recovery and the industrial investment was dependent on the short-term loans which was coming from USA. So whatever investment was coming from the USA, based on that only the production was going on in Germany. But in 1929, there was the Wall Street Exchange crash, that is the stock market of USA crashed in 1929. So due to the overproduction in the economy, because 1920s, the year of 1920s, we have seen the consumer prosperity is there in the USA. The boom was there in the economy. So lot of production was going on of the consumer goods at that time. The Henry Ford, the pioneer in the assembly line production, he also introduced his steam model car. And then due to this, lot of demand was there of the consumer goods. The banks also were providing the cheap credit. And after that, due to this, the consumer prosperity, the boom was there. And after that came the recession in 1929 due to the overproduction, glut in the market. Then the prices of the products reduced, it affected the producers. Their share prices also reduced. Due to this, the panic was there in the share market. The stock market crashed. People started selling their shares out of the fear that prices will fall further down. And when people went to banks to withdraw their money, bank also invested in the market. They were also not having any money, so the banking system also collapsed. The stock markets also collapsed in the USA, and people sold their shares because of the fear regarding fall in the prices. National income of the USA, it fell by half, and its effects were felt worldwide also. So this effect of the depression was felt to other economies also, to other countries also. Like when this depression, the economic depression, the great economic depression occurred in 1929, we were the colony of Britain. The national struggle, our national freedom struggle was going on at that time. And this depression also affected our farmers because we were producing for the world market, but demand reduced, so supply was there, so prices reduced of the agriculture product. It affected our farmers. So this was the depression part. And now what was the impact on Germany of this depression? So we have to see what was the effect on Germany of this depression. So obviously already the weak economy Germany was after the First World War. So the German economy was worst hit after the depression of 1929. By 1932, we have seen the industrial production was reduced to 40%, and workers also lost their jobs. So, no production, no jobs. Workers lost their jobs, no wages, unemployment was increasing. So, when people are not having any money, criminal activities increase, and middle class, whatever savings were there, that also exhausted. They lost all their savings. Businesses also got ruined, and the people, the middle class people, they were having the fear of proletarianization, that they will be reduced to the level of working class or they will become very poor. Agriculture prices were also declined, affected. No food was there, food shortages were there. Women were not having any food to feed their children, and the Weimar Republic was not able to offer any solution to all this problem through which Germany was going after the war. So, economic crisis, political crisis, and the Weimar Constitution was having some inherent defects also, like the proportional representation and Article 48. So we have talked about the proportional representation, that is, if 10 parties are contesting the election and one party secures 20% vote, another secures 5%, and a third one secures 10%, and so on. So in forming the government, all these parties will be representing according to the proportion they got. So always it means according to this system, proportional representation, always the coalition government will be formed. And you know, the coalition government is not a stable government, instability is there. So this was the one defect in the Weimar Constitution. The second was Article 48, in which the president can impose emergency and rule by decree. That according to this, when the president imposes the emergency, all the civil liberties or the civil rights of the people got suspended. Right to freedom of speech, press, assembly, all this automatically got suspended. And now president can rule by decree, that is, he can make the law according to his own will without passing it through German parliament. So no need now, he can pass the laws according to his own will when the emergency is imposed according to Article 48. So we have seen these two examples in which, in the first instance, due to the proportional representation, there is a division of power. There is a sharing of power between different political parties, and according to Article 48, we have seen there is a concentration of power in the hands of one individual. So these defects were there, and people were not happy already with the democracy. So students, now we have to discuss the topic Hitler's rise to power. So now we will see how Hitler rose to power, how he entered into the politics. So Hitler, he was born in Austria in 1889, and he got enrolled into the German army during the First World War, and he was great patriot and for his country, no doubt about it. And he became a corporal, and he earned many medals for the bravery during the war. So this we have seen. Then after that, he was not happy with the Treaty of Versailles. Of course, many Germans were not happy with this, and he was not happy with the defeat in the First World War also. In 1919, Hitler he joined German Workers' Party. Then he took over this party and renamed it as National Socialist German Workers' Party. And this party came to be known as Nazi Party. So he was very good speaker, he was very good orator, and he focused to undo all the injustices which is done with Germany by the Allies. And he said that I will convert Germany into a strong nation. I will weed out all the influences, all the foreign influences from the Germany, and I will remove all or weed out all the conspiracies, theories which were working against Germany. So he was having his own plan to achieve his things. He was having his own way to do the things, and the plans according to which he is going to achieve his dreams. So he planned that 1923 he planned that he will first control the Bavaria, because already the France occupied the Ruhr region in 1923. So he planned that first I will control the Bavaria region and then I will march to the Berlin to seize power from the Weimar Republic. But his plan was failed and he was arrested on the charges of treason. He was sentenced 5 years imprisonment, but he served only 9 months in the prison and then he was released. Now, when after his release, he started working for power, struggling for power, and in 1928 election, he just secured 2.6% of votes, the Nazi party. But during the Great Depression, which we discussed now only, the Nazi party became the mass movement, okay, the Hitler movement. So because already poverty, unemployment was there, people were not happy with the Weimar Republic. So in 1932 elections he got the 37% vote and he become the Nazi party became the largest party in 1932 elections. So he was very good orator. He used to speak very well. His words, his passion moved the people of the Germany. He promised to provide them the employment, to secure the future of the Germany, to make Germany a strong nation. He made the Nazi party very disciplined party. Then massive rallies they used to conduct, the Nazis, and then the propaganda skillfully, all these things projected Hitler as a messiah. Then the red swastik banner, which was designed by Hitler, the flag of the Nazi party, the ritualized rounds of applause, his massive rallies. So all this caught the attention of the people. So when so much motivation is being done by one person, obviously the masses whose dignity and pride already been shattered, they will be convinced by that person and the masses will also follow or support that person. So exactly this only happened. He used to give the powerful speeches. He used the emotions of the people. He used his authority. They infused the fear in the minds of the German people also. Fake enemies, the false propaganda, Jewish people that they are the enemies. So all this propaganda was designed by the Nazi party and it helped the Hitler to rise to power.